Hello and welcome to Sport for Business, where we are joined today by Neal Cummins from the world of television. He's the head of communications at Sky Ireland. You're very welcome back to Sport for Business, Neal.
Thanks, Rob. Good to be here. Good to see you as always.
It is about the particular sponsorship of the Republic of Ireland women's national team that we want to talk today. And what timing, what a great way to actually get on board with the team just at the start of a FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign, where you had a friendly where we beat Australia, then we put up a great performance against Sweden, and then we go to Finland and we win away from home. Things have never been better. And of course, that's all down to Sky's partnership. But tell me, we're used to seeing you as sponsors and broadcasters of the major leagues and the Premier League and the Sky Bet English Championship, but never really on a team in a soccer environment. Yes, in cycling, but not in soccer. Was that a sea change in terms of the way you thought? Because they are materially different properties.
I suppose, Rob, it probably wasn't a conscious decision specifically on that to go down that route. I think it was a case of probably lots of different elements coming together at the right time. Mark Russell and I had always kept in touch from his days working with Aviva, and we both always saw the potential of what the right partner could do to help grow women's football. And then I suppose when I joined Sky, I started to see firsthand the passion that Sky has for women's sport in general. You know, we've worked with Ellen Keane through the Sky Academy. Women's golf is a big focus for us and a key fixture on the schedule. The Solheim Cup was a big one for us this year. And then obviously more recently, our colleagues in the UK secured the rights for the WSL, where of course there's quite a lot of natural crossover with, I think the last count was 12 women's national team players representing clubs in the WSL. And then, you know, our CEO, JD Buckley, our Chief Commercial Officer, Orla Ryan, are both really passionate about women's sport. Both are huge admirers of the 2020 initiative and what it set out to achieve and what it did achieve. And Orla herself would have played a number of different sports at quite a high level. So I think as well, it's also important that what makes a good partnership is something that aligns to, you know, your core values as a company, as a brand. Driving equality is certainly at the heart of everything Sky does. And what better representatives to have than these players who have battled for and fought for equality over the last number of years. So I think when you consider all of those elements, and when the idea of this partnership was put on the table, there was immediate buy-in. Everyone saw the merits of it and everyone was very keen to get involved.
It's great. The idea of a broadcast company, and that is what Sky is, getting involved in a partnership where it doesn't actually have the broadcast rights seems a little bit counterintuitive. Is that something that you're likely to move towards changing in the next round of negotiations?
Yeah, I don't think it's counterintuitive. I think, you know, as I said, a good partnership is one where you can have a positive impact and one that aligns with your brand's core values and beliefs. And that's exactly what this is. You know, in terms of rights, yes, we always look at them as and when they become available. And you know, there's no difference here. But I would say credit where credit's due to RTE. You know, they put on a full production. They get behind the games. I think Sweden and Finland had close to 150, 200,000 average audiences for both. And look, ultimately, that's what it's all about. It's about growing the game. It's about growing awareness. It's about growing support. So long may that continue.
And we've got 2 more games coming up at home in Tallaght Stadium, another opportunity to get a big crowd out there, and hopefully we'll have retained the right to actually fill the stadium at that point in time. In terms of activating the partnership, obviously you're a business and you want to get more people to buy Sky subscriptions. Is that something that you're actually going to be activating at the grounds, as well as through some good social that we've seen so far and through the coverage that you've given on the main channels?
Yeah, you may have seen we signed a recent partnership with Off the Ball, where we're now sponsoring all of Off the Ball's football content. So we launched that partnership the week of the Sweden game, and we did so where we had Adrian Barry broadcasting live from Tala an hour before kickoff across all OTB channels. And then Nathan Murphy and Emma Byrne were doing live co-commentary, which went out live on News Talk and again on all Off the Ball channels. So we'll certainly look to do more of that. One of the Sky team, Kieran Ford, he's done an amazing job on the partnership branding throughout the stadium, and also we're responsible for filling the mascot spaces for each of the games. I think understandably though, as you say, there's been some restrictions and still are some restrictions on what we can and we can't do. So as and when things ease, we'll certainly look to do more. As far as social goes, that's a really important one for us, and you know how we're going to drive and support awareness for the squad. It's really been a key communications tool for us. It's where you can access people directly and showcase the game. And you know we've two brilliant people on the social team, Barry McCarthy and Kat McKeown, who you know have been to every game. They've been been to every game, been to every a lot of the training sessions out in Abbottstown, and yeah, we see that as a really important driver for what we're trying to do.
And the additional content, the piece that you did with Jessica as well, that kind of storytelling is really important, because the media coverage still of women's sport is not quite where we want it to be. Moving in the right direction, but maybe not as quickly as some of us would like. But those kind of initiatives really do work well in terms of actually just sort of making it happen. And the atmosphere in Tala is just fantastic.
Super.
I mean, we've been going for years, and that idea of all of the kids gathering kind of 5 minutes from the end, going down to the wall behind the dugout, and all of the players buying into it, Vera, Eileen Gleeson, everybody being a part of what really feels like one family. How important is that? Because Sky would be generally associated with the Premier League, where there's less of a connection between the fans and the players in a real vibrant physical way. How much fun is it for you as a broadcaster, and is that something that you're able to actually translate over to the overlords and the bosses over in London?
Yeah, I mean, look, we very much have autonomy with this partnership, and it's being run by the Irish team. We've 1,000 employees in Sky in Ireland, and every single one of them are behind this partnership, and it's great to see that. I think what you say about Jess and that video that went out, I think it was so well received because it was her true story, and every single one of the players on that squad have a very remarkable story to tell, a very individual story to tell. And I think ultimately that's what resonates with people. That's what people can familiarize themselves with. And I think very much part of this partnership is doing what we can to not only grow the game and grow support, but also try and inspire the next generation. And if there's younger generations out there who see those videos and see the stories of the players and the journeys and the different things that they've gone through to get to the green jersey, and see themselves and their own journeys as part of that, well then we've achieved something really special. And that's ultimately what we want to do. This partnership is all about, I suppose, doing everything we can to support the squad, with an eye on 2 major tournaments ahead, yes, but I think irrespective of achievements on the pitch, it's also about as much as telling the stories off the pitch as well, and they're just as important.
You're right. World Cup ahead. We won't be at the Euros next year, but that's going to be a huge sea change, I think, in terms of the way that women's football is viewed. The WSL partnership has really taken off. I've seen figures, we wrote about them this morning, about an average of 6-figure audiences watching on average every game that's being broadcast over in the UK, and another 500,000 on the BBC games as well, which is making it the 4th most popular sporting tournament that is being broadcast in Britain, which is exactly where it should be. Quality is great. obviously the Irish presence is really strong as well. Are those numbers following through? Are we watching it here to the same extent as it's being watched in England?
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't do a breakdown between the UK and Ireland, but you know, it has been fantastic, and it's opened up the game to a whole new audience, which is, you know, as I say, it's what it's all about. I know the opening weekend for the WSL on Sky Sports set records. It had a reach of almost 2 million. I know the Man United v Reading game was the most watched WSL pay TV broadcast of all time. I think it had a peak of around 311,000. So, you know, I'd also say as well, it's not just about the broadcasting. There's a huge investment going into advertising, to marketing, to exposure. So it's great to see that growth within the game. You know, you see magnificent moments, yes, from Katie, but also from Louise Quinn, Leanne Kiernan, Denise O'Sullivan, Anya O'Gorman with P-Mount. When you have talent like that and moments like that, it really helps to attract audiences and really showcase that the caliber of players, the skill level is as good, if not better, than any exciting men's game you might watch. And, you know, they're all really important key moments to help drive awareness and grow the game. And, you know, that's ultimately what we're trying to do. You see Katie not only picking up the player of the month, but also the goal of the month yesterday. So long may it continue, Rob.
And those names really do, they trip off the tongue now. And that'll be the same with all sports fans, and add in the likes of Lucy Quinn and Courtney Brosnan and so many other players that are really making an impact, not only on young girls, but on the Irish sporting population. It's exactly the way that it should be. They're a Republic of Ireland team wearing the green and playing their hearts out for us. So we should be supporting them in as great a number as possible. Over the next couple of months, we've got these 2 games coming up at the end of this month in Tala. What's next on the agenda in terms of activation for the Sky partnership? Any hints or clues you can give us?
Well, look, there's a hell of a lot in the pipeline. I can't divulge too much, but I think it goes back to, you know, everything we're trying to do is about driving awareness and support for the squad. It's about giving them a platform and telling their stories, and I suppose ultimately really trying to draw in as much support as possible. As I said, all of the players have remarkable individual stories. You know, a lot of people will be able to relate to them, and I think giving those stories the exposure they deserve is really important. And, you know, as I said, I think that really shone through in the Jess Sue video that we did. So we'll certainly be looking to do a lot more of the same of that. You know, and I think this is a squad and a sport that is still growing, you know, and it's still adapting. So I think it's really important that any campaign that we build around it does exactly the same, you know, that it complements each stage of growth and adapts to maintain that momentum. So, yeah, I would say a lot of exciting things to come, and we're really proud of what we've done so far, and we're very excited about what's to come.
That's great. Not being able to reveal much makes it sound as though you've just been, you know, set up to appear in a Marvel superhero movie, but at least you're painting a picture of these superheroes on the pitch. Neal Cummins, Head of Communications at Sky Ireland, thanks very much for taking the time to join us today and to talk about this great partnership.
My pleasure. Thank you, Rob. Thanks as always.